Previously on Tales of MCell. Okay, so what happened? Last time we met the agents of MCell and their handler, Agent Mason. They were Agent Michaels, Agent Morgan, and Agent Madeline. They were sent to New Jersey to investigate the death of a fellow Delta Green agent. And this led into a whole thing with a haunted house, and it was a lot of fun. You should listen to the last season. At the very end of the operation, someone came banging on the door of their motel room, and a guy with a Russian accent rushed into the room. And, So let's go back to that motel room right now to see what happens next.
Four minutes later.
Yes, that was great.
Perfect. Agent Renko finishes creating a circle with salt on the ground. He's standing in the middle of it, and he beckons for you all to join him in the circle. He has scraps of paper in his hand.
I'm sorry, who are you?
What's in the ever-loving fuck?
No time for questions. Do as I say. Get in within the circle, or your life will be ending very soon. The air begins to smell of ozone.
No, I'm with him. Get in the circle.
The hair on the backs of your necks begins to stand
I
up.
jump into the circle.
Yeah.
But I'm giving him the stank eye.
Bo Shears, get in the circle.
Renko is mumbling something under his breath, and as you join him in the circle, he begins chanting louder as he passes scraps of paper to each of you. I'll give you all a minute to internalize it.
Floxa rocha chit ambel leente ambel mayan suat hip tap tetual yik ambel.
Sick.
As you get near to the end of your first recitation of the words, you begin to hear something else in the room. But it's not even just in the room, it's in your minds, it's everywhere. It's like this sound is emanating from every point around you. The sound of howling dogs. And as you begin your second recitation, raising your voices to hear yourselves over the howling of the dogs, reality itself just rips open right in front of you. And leaping from this gash in the air in front of your eyes is what can only be described as the animated corpse of some enormous hound that's had all of its hair stripped from its flesh. Its jaws are massively oversized, barely contained inside its mouth, and from its back are these crumpled leathery wings that somehow manage to flap as it lands right in front of this salt circle. Renko keeps on chanting, encouraging you to just keep it up. The hound begins pacing, coming as close as it can, at times leaping towards the circle and hitting some invisible barrier inches from your faces. Give me a sanity roll.
You have to roll under your current, right?
Fuck this.
Yep.
Yeah, mine's a massive failure.
Oh, baby.
It's a D6 sound loss.
Oh, that's like I failed by 3.
Oof.
Get off.
Did you say D6 sound loss?
Yeah.
And lose 1 willpower point.
Nice knowing you guys, by the way. I'm looking forward to a nice solo game with Fabio. You guys can go to the pub or something.
I'm just going to get these guys out of the way.
I'm 58 sanity. I'm sane as fuck.
I'm at 42 now. I'm getting close to breaking again.
The hound continues pacing. It continues throwing itself at the barrier, and you continue chanting. 10 minutes, 20, 30. Give me a con roll.
Constitution.
Massive fail.
Ooh.
Oh, I only have 3 hit points, by the way.
Ooh, I'll keep that in mind. As the exhaustion starts to take its toll on you, I mean, you haven't even had a chance to take a break since the last nightmare that you went through. Lose another willpower point.
Selena is now on 5 willpower points.
40 minutes. 50. An hour of chanting. You're all barely able to speak. Even Renko by this stage is starting to falter. But the hound, its pacing is slowing. It hasn't attacked the barrier in some time. It almost looks like it's cowering. And as you begin to chant one last time, the hound stops moving. It begins to fade. It looks deep into the soul of each of you one last time before vanishing from existence. Renko drops the book that he was reading from. He stumbles over to the bed, picks up his paper bag, takes out a bottle of vodka, opens it, takes a long, hard swig, and he says, I guess it's cards on the table time.
I mean, you first.
Renko explains that he is from the Delta Green equivalent originally the Soviet Union, now Russia. He doesn't go into too many details about why he's in America. I don't know if you press him on that. But he does tell you that he's fully aware of what you've just been through. He wishes he could have helped, but he learned the true facts of it too late. I thank you for helping me here. I don't know that I could have withstood that alone. One more time.
I snatched the vodka out of his hand. Do you want to tell us anything about why it was us, or why this is not the first time? Swig, swig, swig.
Yeah, he takes a bottle back from you, takes a swig and passes it on to the next person. Well, who else for 100 miles could understand even a fraction of what was happening to me? Who else would not think that I was completely insane as soon as I burst into the room?
So how did you end up 100 miles from anybody else who might know? What are you doing here?
I was tasked with recovering an artifact, which was stored in your green box, you call it, right? We do laugh at that. Yes, I had to recover an artifact from that. Sorry I stepped on your toes or got in the way of your investigation, but I didn't mean to cause you any inconvenience.
Speaking of, what did you take? Do we know what we took? I can't remember. No, it was something
No,
came
we
out of the
didn't.
mattress, isn't it?
Yeah, but we don't know what it was.
I used to know what it was, but I've forgotten.
Was there a decomposing child's body at some point?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, that
but
wasn't
you
in there,
guys
yeah.
took that,
Well, that's
not him.
fine. We don't need to talk about that. That's fine.
What?
Don't worry, you have amnesia. You probably can't remember.
No, but was that the bog hound from Ghostbusters that we just saw?
Was that the... Is he right? Was that the bog hound?
Are you the gatekeeper?
There is only Zoom.
From now on, if anyone asks you if you're a god, say yes. Let's see, what's the explain he stole? You probably wouldn't understand. It was a to you, it would appear to have been a painting. But the people who asked me to recover it will see something else in it. Me personally, it was a very poor quality painting.
Who was that?
Who wanted it?
Right.
If I revealed that, they would kill me.
All right, but who?
But,
Can
are we supposed to care?
Like, you just came into our room, a dimensional dog just came here, gave me more nightmares than what I just went through, and now you expect me to just be like, all right, have a good day. Nice knowing you, pal. What is this?
No, of course not. Of course not. There's give and take here. You helped me, I will help you in the future.
Can I be
Oh,
surreptitiously...
you're staying here in Asave? Sorry.
I will be contactable.
Can I be surreptitiously texting the handler at this point, saying in all caps, Russian equivalent Delta Green, question mark, exclamation mark, question mark.
Got reds under the bed.
KGB.
Okay, you send that. Give me a stealth.
My stealth is 10%.
I rolled a 6 for Renko, so
Ooh. As in perception?
yeah. His awareness.
That's a 56. I have 10.
He sees you do it, and I think our conversation is over. I'll be in touch. I will be keeping an eye on you.
Wait, how do we get in touch with you? What happened to cards on the table?
I will share that in time. Well,
Wait, what?
your friend didn't seem to want to put her cards on the table. She instead is sending messages.
She's a terrible card player.
It's time for me to leave. You can keep the vodka.
Can we keep the book you're holding?
It's in Russian. You couldn't read it. What's your agent's UMINT?
Yeah, non-existent. Why?
Mine's 60.
You notice Renko's gaze lingers longer than it needs to on Charles' character.
On
Eric
Eric
Paras.
Paras.
Eric Paras.
Agent Michaels.
Because he's probably in a t-shirt at this stage.
Well, you know. You look as good as I do.
With his fireman arms.
Yeah.
And Renko spots you, spotting him, and he packs up his things and he passes Boshears a card, and there's a phone number scribbled on it. Otherwise, it's blank and just dog-eared. And he kind of awkwardly stumbles towards the door and says, "Thank you again. I promise you I will repay you." And he opens the door and he steps out into the night. So I think it's time for another operation for MCell. Welcome to Tales of Podcast.
Hey!
I will be your handler tonight, Fabio. If what just happened made no fucking sense to you whatsoever, listen to our last season.
Yes.
Tonight, we are going to be playing Delta Green again. And we are playing a module called Viscid. And it's a real good one. And joining me tonight to play Delta Green, Jan.
That's me.
Who are you playing again?
I am playing Selena Goodwill, FBI profiler, amateur animal behaviorist, expert human behaviorist, cat lady extraordinaire.
Thank you very much. We're very happy to have her back. Find out
Yes.
what happens with those cats.
And-
Wasn't it Agent Madeline?
Yes, but her name is Selena Goodwill, a.k.a. Agent Madeline. And she's back in all of her non-hypogenic glory.
Because she had a run-in with hypergeometry.
Oh, I was talking more about being covered constantly in cat fur, but yes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Is that hypoallergenic? That's what I was
Yes.
going. Her non-hypoallergenic glory.
Yes, we will. We'll give you a chance to reintroduce Selena in a little while and describe how she looks and what's been happening to her for the last few months. Let's go to Mike.
That's me.
You were playing Agent.
I'm playing Lucas Boshears, FBI special agent. I catch murderers.
What's his MCell code name?
Agent Morgan.
Agent Morgan. Let's remember it this time. And Charles, you were in that scene too. The object of Agent Renko's desires.
Yeah, he noticed.
Is he going to hit me up in the
noticed.
next month? Am I going to start dating Renko?
I don't know, man. This is a role-playing game. We'll find out.
That's not how I read that at all.
I mean, I don't mind it.
Yeah. I read it as definitely checking out a piece of ass on his way out.
Oh.
I mean, Selena's noticed.
I thought he was
I'm
looking
sure-
at him because it came after the Russian thing. It's like you wouldn't be able to read it. I thought he was lingering because he was like, oh, this guy's an idiot.
That was a fair assessment.
He's clearly a himbo.
Yes, clearly a himbo. I think that's how I originally described him way back in the day. The kind of person that would have like nunchaku, except I'm into
You're into mall ninja shit?
yes, mall ninja shit. Except I'm into Native Indian stuff, so
Native American.
Native American. What did I say?
You said Native Indian.
Jesus fuck. Tonight, playing a himbo in real life, Charles. Eric Peraz, who is a fireman for the National Park Services. So he's got something going on, in all fairness.
And his MCL codename?
Agent Michaels.
Michaels.
It used to be Agent Michael. And then everybody started calling him Agent Michaels. And then we were like, well, we'll stick him with that. Fuck it.
Peer pressure.
Yes.
And
also it
MCL
sounded
are
good.
not alone tonight.
What's this?
We got Patsy.
Hey, everyone.
Yay!
Patsy, why don't you tell us about your character?
I thought I got that checked out last week.
Tonight I'll be playing Jonathan Lee Briers, recently retired USA Criminal Investigation Division captain and current Delta Green old hand.
Excellent. Okay. The next time you hear from Delta Green, it has been 6 months since the events we just witnessed. Your agents can do some downtime activities. What do you think they've been up to in those 6 months? Mike, you wake up one morning, early October 3rd, I think, actually. And there's a card lying in the hallway. Where does Boshears live?
Outside the city, I think.
Right. So he's got like a mailbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like outside the suburbs. Somewhere nice and quiet.
He makes his usual walk, probably holding a coffee at the time. Got his bathrobe on. Walks down to the mailbox. Opens it. There's the usual bills and shit in there, and flyers and promotional mailings. And there's a nondescript envelope with Morgan written on it. And when he opens it, there's a slip of paper. It says simply, "You're invited to a night at the opera." What's been happening with Boshears for the last 6 months?
Boshears got caught up looking through old case files for the last 6 months following the incident at 1 trillion word end. Was it? What was that?
I can't remember.
Yeah. Everyone there experienced some things that they hadn't experienced before. He opened his eyes to a few new possibilities, and he started trying to cast that new perspective over some of his old case files that went cold, or that always had unsatisfactory conclusions. That he was sure they were like a cover up or not the whole picture.
Right. Give me
he couldn't let it go.
criminology roll.
Criminology. Fail it.
You frustratingly find nothing on this case. Do you want to tell us what case it was that you were looking into in particular?
It was a case in the height of the year 2012. The world was ending and clowns were all the rage. And there was a serial killer that loved to dress up like a clown. But it never matched up. Nothing ever matched up between the murders. They were all different. Boshears was always convinced that there's no way this was just one guy. And now thinking back at some of those murders, they seemed clownishly ritualistic. And he thought, what if this is some kind of clown cult?
Well, it appears you made a clown of yourself because your theories were bullshit. And out of frustration, you take 1d6 minus 3 sandy loss.
Ooh.
Have you upset
So
someone
two.
at the office? Between this and the alliteration killer, I feel like like someone just, we got a case for Boshears here, and they're all laughing behind their hands.
You're also going to lose a point off one of your bonds as you obsessively work on this case and miss a few appointments to meet with them. Which bond is it?
My dear old ma.
Oh, poor old Ma. What's going on with Mom?
She's having a hard time up in Queens. That other place I know in New York.
He's back, baby.
She keeps calling me saying she needs a plumber, but I keep telling her I'm not a plumber.
Who else has got something that their agent has been up to for the last 6 months? Jan?
So Selena, aka Agent Madeline.
Agent Madeline had a bit of a tough time on the last operation.
She did.
How's she been holding up?
She's been having a kind of tough time after the operation as well, because she's always been very kind of practical and what's the word I'm looking for? She's never really believed in anything kind of supernatural or anything like that. She's always thinking of some scientific reason for things, and she has no scientific explanation for what happened to her. She at first thought, she just had some kind of dissociative fugue. But the fact that this ritual and everything happened, she's not convinced that it could be a group hallucination. It's kind of opened her mind to the possibility that magic could be a thing, and it's left her thinking more about reports and stories about particularly psychic abilities, the way that people claim to be able to do certain things with their mind, as she is a profiler and a psychoanalyst and a psychiatrist. It's kind of leading her down a little strange rabbit hole about, well, maybe actually not all of those things are bunk at all. Now she's like, oh shit. It's kind of left her kind of questioning her own reality, making her question all of the things that she's ever learned. Yeah, and it's kind of given her pause, and I think particularly her mentor at Quantico has noticed this, that she's been leaning a little bit more into either strange theories or kind of being ambivalently torn, like away from rational explanation. So she's had a little bit of that. If we see her on October 2nd, you would notice that she looks relatively disheveled with dark eyes. This is because she's been up for 3 nights with a new litter of kittens. Kevin had 7 kittens to add to all of the kittens in her house, so that's kind of been taking a lot of her energy. But before she left New Jersey, she also had a great compulsion to go and ransack Yarrow's office.
Oh.
She got a bit of a taste for interesting tomes, and she went to see just what else he might have.
Let's see what happened there. It's 3 a.m. After Renko left.
Can we say that she's dressed like a cat burglar?
Absolutely.
Cat
Like
burglar.
Halle Berry.
Covered in cat hair.
You guys polished off that bottle of vodka. Agents Michaels and Morgan fell asleep in either in their own beds or just in chairs or draped over whatever. I don't know if you all got different rooms, but when
just
you were
draped over a table somewhere.
when you were sure they were definitely asleep, you snuck out, got in your car, and headed to the university where Yarrow's office is. Of course, no one knows that he's dead yet. It's just later that night.
I wouldn't want to let something so important go to waste now.
No, you would not. You take great care in entering the building. You find that the front door is unlocked, left open by Yarrow, presumably, and security obviously haven't checked it. In fact, you didn't see any security as you were coming in here, as careful as you were.
Times have certainly changed.
Yeah. You crept down a long, dark, echoing hallway to Yarrow's office. You found your way straight there. And in that empty office, still had the smell of the man who had worked there for years. You begin ransacking the place.
I like the idea that she's like tiptoeing in very carefully, closes the door, and then there's just like an off-camera shot of like things flying in the air.
Yeah,
she's completely tearing the
all
paper apart.
composure goes.
There's pages flying everywhere.
Until you realize that there's a desk drawer, a large desk drawer that you haven't opened yet.
Jackpot.
It's locked, of course. Do you go about opening it in a calm, dignified way, or
Shoot the lock off. Do it.
Do I have any interesting stats for this? If not,
I doubt it.
I can persuade it to open. No, I don't have any interesting stats for this, but I think that I think she might try first, at least, to maybe pick a lock, and then if that doesn't work, probably just kind of try and force it open.
After jiggling the drawer a couple of times, you look at the desk, and under a sheaf of papers, you see a letter opener.
Sweet.
She grabs it, jams it into the lock, whacks it around a bit.
Because that's how picking locks works.
It doesn't work. She just starts kicking it, hurts her foot, and then she notices there's a key in the other drawer. And inside that drawer, she finds an old leather-bound book.
Yeah, she does.
What languages does Agent Madeline speak?
She speaks English, Chinese, and Arabic.
No dice. She probably recognizes this as German, though. The title on the cover is Unaussprechlichen Kulten.
Jan doesn't even know what that means exactly, so...
And that's why she's not going to be able to make a whole lot of this book straight off. But lucky for you, or unluckily, she's got 6 months to learn German.
Great, so I guess that's what she's all... And just imagining now we flash back to her with like the dark rings around her eyes, bottle feeding kittens whilst doing flashcards with her other hand with
start
German.
a new bond with a Duolingo owl.
Dirty. Driving herself insane trying to understand Daddy Das.
You know, Boschia speaks German.
Oh.
Boschia's mama's German.
Dang. I don't think that Goodwill knows that though.
Probably not.
If she can learn German in 6 months enough to read such a book, then she's fucking putting me to shame.
Well, she knows Chinese and Arabic. I imagine she's probably pretty good at learning languages.
I know Japanese.
Yeah?
You said Japanese was easy.
Than German, yeah.
Let's roll sanity.
Oh no. Well, my sanity is currently 42, so my chances aren't that high.
Yeah, who gets as far as translating the title and then decides to keep going?
That is an 88.
Oh, that's a critical fail.
Oh, fuck me.
Off to a good start.
Selena's just done. Like, she's just out.
Here's the bad news. Crit fail means that you take the maximum possible sand loss. Sand loss for reading this tome, 2d8.
Oh,
That's 16 sand loss. However, Selena does not speak German. So she's only going to be able to read a fragment of this in the months that she has. Of course, she can come back to it. I'm sure she will feel compelled to come back to it. So I am going to make it a D4 loss. So you take 4 points of sand damage. But you gain the ritual Prayer to the Dark Man.
is that magic? Is that a spell that you
No, I
can
think it's a
use?
Saul Williams album.
Where does this go? Special training?
Just anywhere in a notebook or something. Just
Prayer to the Dark Man. And my immediate sand loss is
4.
Oh, it's the max.
Yeah.
Almost will put me back at my breaking point. That's 38, 35.
And wasn't the Dark Man the guy responsible for the house?
Yeah.
Yarla Fontap.
No, whole time.
It is in fact the ritual that you undertook.
It just means that I committed it to memory.
You can you can do it the other way around now as well. So you can summon the Dark Man. You also know closing of the breach from Renko's. I think you all know closing of the breach now.
We do.
If you choose to internalize it, or you can decide that you forget it.
In one ear, out the other.
Yeah, I mean, when is that situation going to come up again, right?
And
This session.
the unnatural gain would have been 12, but you only understood a portion of it, and I give you a D4, so I'm going to give you... Let's give you 4 unnatural points.
Right, that brings me to 9.
Charles, what was happening with... Hang on, did we do Eric yet?
No.
We didn't.
I figured it out. Every time I take 2 or more points of sanity loss, I have I forget what happens. So I forgot what happened with the bog dog.
Yeah.
That's gone on my memory. So Eric Perez, I've rolled for all of these, and I failed all of these rolls. Just so you know, Eric Perez has had a really bizarre summer. Like he knows
One crazy summer.
Wild, crazy summer.
No, I mean he knows that shit just went down, but you know, the best that he can't quite put it. He can't quite put his finger on it, and so he's been trying to like deal with it the best way he does. He does commit himself to one of his personal motivation, which is doing a job that nobody else can. So he once reaffirms his job fighting fires in the forest. That does nothing for him. He decides he's going to go to festivals and music festivals and dance off and cry off in a yurt. And
Does he go to Burning Man?
Oh, he goes to whatever version of hippie Burning Man is that's in the forest. Whatever that is. Takes a whole bunch of ayahuasca and mushrooms and just cries out. He decides he tries to hit on this girl, and they have like a one-night romance, and then she leaves him. Does not establish a bond. I rolled for that as well. He decides to just spend some time meditating in nature. I rolled for that and failed that as well. So he got 1 point of sanity back out of his whole crazy summer. Oh, and he does some white water rafting. Because, yeah, whatever. He's a bit of a thrill seeker. And no matter what he does, he can't scratch the itch that he has forgotten something that's pretty horrible. And all this time, he ignores his parents, who are still waiting for him to call and just spend time with him. But he's like, no, my parents won't get this. I'm just gonna figure this thing out on my own.
Did he recover any sanity?
Just one.
Just the one.
Just the one for
1
being
point.
back in nature. Everything else was roll against her sanity, which is a pathetic 33 right now. And I rolled, I think, 4 times against sanity.
You don't even like nature anymore. It's lost its appeal.
It's more that I'm gonna role play the amnesia. It's more that the fact that like every time he gets close to remembering what's happening, it's like a shudder, and his mind is fighting. And probably he should just go to therapy, but that's not what he decided to do.
Okay, great. Thanks, Charles. So, Agent Michaels and Agent Madeline both get summoned by Delta Green too. And on the morning of October 3rd at 7:45, you all arrive at a nondescript diner. It should be breakfast time rush, and this place is empty. There are 2 old men sitting in a booth.
Aww, they look cute.
One of them you recognize as Agent Mason, the man who delivered your previous briefing. The other you don't recognize. Patsy, who do they see?
Okay, he's, despite the fact that he's inside and sitting down, he does not look at ease. He's wearing an enormous black coat and is keeping his hands to himself. He is maybe 60 years old. And the first image most people have is maybe the butler from the Addams Family.
Alert.
This man has had a hard life, and he has hands the size of frying pans. If he was standing up, he would tower over nearly anyone. And he's got he's mostly bald. He's got these big bifocals, which he keeps squinting angrily at his food through. And yeah, you see is something horrible has happened to one side of his face at some point. Looks like his cheekbones are kind of different shapes. There's some little chunk out of his nose that looks like a near miss. And yeah, as you watch, he has a bunch of pills lined up. He's got a Xanax, an Advil, 2 metamizole nitrates for angina, and 2 THC gummies, and he's working his way through them.
Who walks in first?
Me.
How does Agent
Wait.
Bum shears.
Bum Shears?
That's what they call you at the office.
Agent Morgan.
How does Agent Morgan look?
Agent Morgan has a big. So he wears his suit, the same suit from the last case he's wearing, except he went out and rebought the same one and threw that one away. So yeah, he has just a black suit with the white shirt underneath and a black tie. Very, very typical looking FBI man.
Clean shaven?
He's not this time. He's got some stubble this time. He looks he would say he looks awful, right? He has his tie, his shirt is not done. The last button is not done up. It's a little loose. He has some
What
stubble.
kind of shabby bum is this?
The last time he shaved was 2 hours ago. He's got some stubble. And he's got it's October. It's not that cold. I don't know, where are we?
New York.
Yeah, I don't actually know what the weather's like in New York. Is it cold in October?
Isn't it cold
It's pretty
except for
north. It's
three
pretty high up
months
north,
of the
isn't it?
year?
It wouldn't be miles off what it'd be here in October.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah, they got hot summers, cold winters.
yeah, hot
They're
summers,
by the
cold
sea.
winters.
I guess he's wearing, is it a duster? Is that what you call it? Like a big,
Yeah.
cool, fancy jacket? Yeah.
Not fancy, just utilitarian.
Yeah, but he was wearing it over a suit, so it's
Like
Oh,
a,
so
like
a
a-
trench coat.
a trench coat. Yeah, okay. Sorry, when we say trench coat, I always just think of those big leather ones. That like a
like a duster is what a cowboy wears.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
A trench coat is what like a
Goth wears.
no, like a fucking hard-nosed private investigator.
yeah, but not Neo.
No, but okay.
Yeah, Neo would wore a trench coat.
Yeah, but he has like a big nasty leather one.
We're probably thinking more like Agent Mulder than Neo, right?
Yeah, who's that?
From the X-Files.
I don't know that one.
You've not watched the X-Files?
I've heard of it. I know about the ride in Disneyland.
Fuck me.
There's an
don't know. It's
X-Files
working with me.
ride
That's not
in
an X-Files.
Disneyland.
No, that's the Twilight Zone.
But the elevator.
Moving swiftly on. He's wearing a big cool coat.
All right, okay. Agent Madeline comes in next.
Cashmere.
How's Madeline look?
I think Madeline has recently been more doing lectures at Quantico. She's wearing, she's tall, Caucasian. I described her previously, I think, as a kind of Agent Scully type, but even hotter, except she's covered in a fine layer of cat hair. She's wearing a pantsuit. Well, no, she's wearing pants and a kind of blouse, but then she has one of those. I always call them like geography teacher blazers. That I think she's not wearing a corduroy one, but the ones in my head are always corduroy. You know, with the leather patches on
Yeah.
the elbow. She's wearing that.
She cut the patches off on her jacket. Though.
And you're not really sure looking at her what color the jacket actually is, because there's a whole mishmash of different colored cat hair across it, and she has dark circles around her eyes and smells slightly of sour milk. She's probably been up
I
feeding
thought you were going to say sauerkraut. She's really getting into learning that German.
also that, but she's been up late recently, bottle feeding the kittens. So
You sit silently in the booth, staring at Agent Mason and this unknown older gentleman. 8 full minutes while you wait for Agent Michaels to come in and then try to squeeze his way into a 2-person seat.
Wonderful.
And finally drag a chair over.
Now, a quick question. Agent Michaels, did he also get an invitation to the opera?
He did, yes.
So Agent Michaels doesn't really have a suit except for his dress uniform, which means, and he works for the National Park Service, which means he rocks up in a green, like dark green suit, complete with a little ranger hat that he's carrying by the hand. He's well built. It's got dirty blonde hair, and looks rather uncomfortable being in the city in his dress uniform, and sits down at the squeezes of the 2-man booth and says,
Oh, it's you.
Are we really going to the opera? Because I don't think I've ever seen an opera in real life.
Well, clearly, if it's this early in the morning, we're catching a matinee.
Agent Mason clears his throat and he says, okay, let's get to it. First of all, this is Agent...
Is my code name still the same?
If you want it to be.
Agent Garrett.
No, it's got to be with an M, no?
Doesn't have to be.
Ah, all right.
He's not MCell.
Fair enough.
You'll never be MCell.
ACEL decided to send Agent Garrett here after
Ithel.
your report on your last operation. He just don't be worried about it. He's not here to scare anyone.
I mean, I wasn't worried until you said
Agent
don't be
Garrett
worried.
looks menacingly at them, I assume.
I mean, as he has been looking menacingly into space, but if you look at him, it seems like he's looking menacingly at you. That's maybe just what his face looks like.
He's still sucking down your little sippy cup of medicinal cocktail.
No, he's worked his way through those, and now he's writing notes in a little notebook.
Agent Mason puts down his coffee and begins the briefing. At 5:45 a.m. 2 mornings ago, Seattle Times delivery driver Ernesto Torres found the body of a retired geneticist by the name of Tybalt Greaves. The body was lying in the driveway of Greaves' home in Mill Creek in Washington. At 6 a.m., police arrived. Reports say that Greaves had suffered extensive wounds to his mouth, neck, and face, and the crows had gathered to pick at the body. 6:05 a.m., the officers Grant and Daly entered Greaves' house. They found another body that was later identified as Greaves' live-in girlfriend, Amanda Griffin. The officers reported that Griffin's mouth was covered in blood, which had congealed to a blue-black pile around her face. Her skin also had a distinct blue tinge to it. At 6:09 a.m., officers cordoned off the house and called for detectives and a medical examiner. Medical examiner arrived at 6:32 a.m., along with Detective Emily Dunser. Dunser and the medical examiner, Lewis Stubbs, entered the house and began taking photographs of the evidence. At 7:09, it was sunrise. Officers outside called Stubbs to look at something strange happening to Greaves' body. Over the next 8 minutes, Tybalt Greaves' corpse collapsed in on itself until nothing was left but a blue-black goo, which then started to solidify to the consistency of a hard candy. And they reported that they could smell chlorine and honey from it. Only Greaves' left hand and feet were left intact. There are time-stamped photographs covering most of the disintegration, and Mason slides a manila envelope over to you, which has these photographs in it. At 7:21, Detective Dunser and the evidence technician photographed what looked like small, bloody footprints and other smudges on the floor of the kitchen near Griffin's body. The prints were smaller than a toddler's and seemed deformed But there was at least one clear toe mark indicating that this was a human foot. 7:25 a.m. Dunser followed the strange tracks to the closet that holds the furnace in the house. Behind that furnace, he found a wall with a hinge. There was a secret door in the back of the closet leading to a biohazard lab in a secret room. It had air scrubbers, air conditioners, set up to maintain negative air pressure in there. A lot of money had gone into it. Stubbs ordered everyone out and alerted the CDC and the FBI. Mill Creek Police Chief Bob Crannell ordered that no one be allowed to leave the scene, and police set up a cordon around the block. At 8:40 a.m., a CDC team led by Dr. Roberta Kane arrived from Seattle. FBI agents and the first of many reporters soon followed. A biohazard tent was built over the house, and everyone who had been exposed to the house and to Greaves's body was removed to Providence Regional Medical Center in Everett, Washington. The CDC began testing them for infectious diseases. All were later cleared. Greaves's neighbours, Elizabeth McGreedy and Marty Postwaite, were evacuated from their homes but allowed to return that evening. Roberta Kane examined Greaves's lab. She collected unusual samples from a small silver sample case with biohazard markings and a stamp which reads Bounce in capital letters. BOUNCE. Inside that were 12 vacuum-sealed packages containing a substance that Kane designates unknown biological sample 1. One of those packages is open. Kane described the contents as undifferentiated cellular material with human characteristics. At 11:50 a.m., Kane, who's a Delta Green friendly, alerted a case officer, and Operation Malta was set in motion. That is the operation you have been gathered here for to this morning. The CDC ordered the samples collected and flown to Atlanta for study. The next morning, October 2nd, 8:01 a.m., the CDC loaded unknown biological sample 1 onto CDC Flight 191 Secure, a small plane with a crew of 2. It departed for Atlanta. 9:46 a.m., Butte, Montana. Air traffic control loses contact of Flight 191 after a moment of garbled radio transmission. There's no report of malfunction. The transponder places Flight 191 in Clearwater National Forest, Idaho. 11:22, search and rescue flights spotted smoke and located the wreckage of Flight 191. The CDC instructed rescuers to stay away from the wreckage. That brings us to right now, people.
Damn.
You are to take the identity of consultants for the CDC. He passes another envelope into the middle of the table. Though, of course, you can use any identities that you think may be useful and which you have already established. You are to find out the source of this infection, establish if it is still a threat, neutralize that threat, and make sure it doesn't surface again. Do whatever it takes. You got any questions? Because I probably don't have answers.
So the plan is to neutralize the threat entirely. And in this envelope there are some IDs, or?
Correct, yes. There's some CDC consultant identities.
Great.
They're not going to get you very far with law enforcement, but I'm sure you can use your own credentials discreetly if you need to. Any
Right,
more
how are
questions?
we supposed to get to
Well, either Seattle
Montana
or Idaho.
or Idaho?
Do you want me to buy you a bus ticket?
Well, that's a
Yeah,
2-day drive. I was hoping you'd buy me a flight ticket.
You're a big boy. I'm sure you'll figure it out.
God damn it.
I do have a question.
God damn it, what?
What does Garrett have to do with this?
Garrett is, let's call him insurance.
Don't worry, I'll look after you.
Oh, I feel better. I don't know about you guys. I definitely feel better.
Think of think of him as a safety net. He will.
Looks like Garrett's got his hand full looking after himself.
Don't you worry about Garrett. Garrett can take care of himself. And he has been for a long time.
Selena eyes all the pills that are lined up in front of him.
Oh, they're gone. I had 8 minutes to wait. Now he's just drinking vitamin water. No, I'll let you young pups run on ahead, but if you get into trouble, maybe you'd be glad I was there.
You know, vitamin water is just water with sugar. It's
Yeah.
a big scam run by Jay-Z and whoever else. It's
You get to my age, boy, there's very few pleasures in life. Leave me my sugar water.
Take it from me. Take it from me. You see Agent Garrett running, you should run too. You might learn something from him.
Looking forward to working with all of you.
I mean, I didn't know these two before, and I still don't trust them. So, what's another one? It's all good.
No,
it's all good.
Briefing done, you were all presented one at a time with an enormous hand to shake.
Oh,
Michael's first.
whose hand is bigger?
Good question.
Oh, are we having a handoff?
Have a roll off.
Are we having a handoff, and why does that sound as dirty as it does?
Yeah, back in Cthulhu, size was just a numerical value. but
Yes.
I got 16 hit points, suggesting pretty big.
I think it stands for hand points, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Well, it's all proportional, you know.
Oh no, I've only got 14 hand points.
But you probably have a more functional heart valve than he does.
Yes.
So.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Garrett. I'm sure we'll be able to lean on you when
I
the
hope
time
so.
comes.
But you're the big guy around here. I bet they lean on you in a tough spot.
No.
Mason stands up suddenly. He's looking out the window. He might be looking at a taxi cab that just stopped outside. He looks at all of you and I trust you can handle this.
Right.
Contact me if you need to, but try not
On
to.
the flip phones.
And he leaves by the toilet door.
Right.
What you gonna do?
Well then, Garrett,
Yes.
is there any additional information that you might have that we
No.
currently do not?
We're all on the same team.
Exactly. So
I don't know
if
anything
you
you
have
don't know.
anything more, please share it.
Hey, if I would, I'm an open book. But I got nothing, but we got a job ahead of us.
Oh, I've done this before. We're let loose with nothing, no extra information other than a piece of paper. That's the same thing as happened last time. Garrett, welcome to the team. I think you'll find that we operate a tight ship around here.
Oh, I can tell. Nice uniform, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Oh, well, not everyone can do this. As you know, the new team joiner is responsible for buying plane tickets or train tickets. We'll take the Amtrak. Nobody likes the Amtrak, but we'll take the Amtrak.
You got any cargo you need to bring? Anything you can't bring through a flight?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I do want to take my axe with me.
Oh, yes, axe. I get a 1,000-yard stare thinking about that axe.
Yeah, they don't have those in other states. You might want to bring that.
I mean, I could, I guess. I mean, I always know which store to hit.
But yeah, like I have no dependents and I'm a retired army captain. I can afford plane tickets, I assume. So I say, we want to go a place? Just call me your travel agent.
Yes. So I think we ought to decide where we want to go.
Well, it makes sense to first check out. Well, we can call Kane, right?
Yes, do
Wanna
we
talk to her
know
first?
if Kane is on site there or in Clearwater or back in Washington?
There's ways to find that out.
Enlighten us.
Any of you young fellas good with computers?
Nope.
What's a computer?
Huh?
Hey, I like you.
Well, look, there's two things we should start with. One of them's checking out that wreckage. Want to go down to Idaho? If someone can get Detective Kane on the horn, and
I'd say
find out what
if
she
we got
knows.
access to a friendly, that's probably the first port of call before we go camping out in the woods.
Oh, I do like camping. I got that sorted. I've got the gear.
All right,
glad to have
then
you
it's
aboard,
settled.
Michaels.
Michaels goes to Idaho, and the rest of us.
I mean, it does make sense that you would put me in the forest. I can probably track anything in there.
Ah, yes, because sending Michaels alone worked so well for us last time.
Well, at least this time you can't try and chop our heads off.
I'm sure you guys know all this, but my advice is no one goes anywhere alone. We good?
Yeah, that's why I tried staying in the house, but nobody listened to me.
Let's see if you're still saying that a week after hanging out with this guy.
Madeline runs off to go outside to call Ryan to tell him that he has to hand feed all the kittens.
We ought to, I think, we ought to call Kane, figure out if he should be our first port of call, and whether we're doing a trip to Idaho or we're doing a trip to...
Kane is a lady, right?
Yeah,
Roberta Kane.
Would CDC personnel be like publicly listed? Would there be like a...
Yeah, you'd be able to find Kane's number.
What does CDC stand for?
Center of Disease Control.
Where do they stand on the hierarchy of coolest federal agencies?
I mean, they're quite useful. They don't do a lot of murdering. They've never...
That we know of.
Never sold arms to any right-wing death squads. They're pretty good.
That we know of.
But to an FBI agent, they're not very cool.
No, in terms of... We all probably think we're cooler than them.
Yeah, like everybody knows there's nobody
nerds.
cooler than the National Park Service.
Okay, so what's the plan?
We're calling Kane.
Who's calling Kane?
Not me.
It sounds like you're volunteering.
No, I am not the right person to be on the phone or to talk anybody. I think Madeline.
All right, I can call her.
Yeah.
She picks up after a couple of rings. This is Kane?
Miss Kane, this is Madeline, Agent Madeline.
Agent Madeline. Yes, I was told to expect a call from you.
Yes, our mutual friend has forwarded on the details to us. We are ready to proceed, but we'd like to come and meet you in person. I'm not quite sure where you actually are at this current time.
I can meet you in Mill Creek in Washington.
Washington, okay.
Yeah, I haven't returned to the office yet. I will be heading there by this evening.
So we can meet you at the CDC office or perhaps at the residence?
Yeah, you can meet me at the house if you can make it in the next few hours. Otherwise, you can catch me up the Seattle office. I'll be in the lab.
Understood.
All right, let's get a taxi to JFK.
I thought you were about to say let's get a taxi to Washington.
Yeah, not paying for that.
I'm just going to have to leave my van behind with all my goodies.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way that you could justify bringing any kind of weaponry on a plane, but you're a federal agent.
Wait, what year is this?
2017.
Oh, yeah, there's no way I can bring a knife or something.
You're retired.
Yeah, I'm retired, so I feel like I probably can't have a service weapon, so if I want weapons, I'll need to find a way to pick them up later.
You can break down a gun and fly, but I don't think you can take ammo.
Yeah, fair enough. Then if you've got a personal weapon, you can pack it if you've got the appropriate license and permits, I suppose.
That seems like something I would have. All right.
I can't imagine you have a license for an axe. Oh, I suppose if it's in a good... Maybe you've got like some kind of fireman bag.
I mean, as a professional park ranger, then surely...
Yeah, maybe.
No, forget it. I do change into my usual slacks because.
I mean, once we get there, we can just send you to a DIY store.
Yeah, I was gonna say I definitely know my way around a DIY store, and I definitely have my NPS not savings like discount card,
like a club card.
No, it's more like hey, like you know, we help the forest, so everybody recognizes us. So we usually get.
I see. I was thinking like a little stamp card of like buy 8 axes and get the next 2 free.
I do hang out at the Axe Club, but with the Axe Trucking Club, and I do have 7 out of 8 stamps. It's funny you should say, but that's just for me. Like that's just for an axe throwing session.
So it's a few hours later, and you all arrive in a rental car, I guess. You pull up at the house. You spot it from a distance because it's. Got a big fuck off tent around it, a big biohazard tent built up around the house. It's at the end of a street with only 2 other houses on it. Apart from that, there's some woodland around it. Though it is like a suburban area, it's not like miles from anything. There are a couple of police cars outside, and there is a dark sedan waiting for a woman who is walking towards it, about to get in, just as you pull up. She pauses for a moment and waits for you to get out of the car.
She sees 4 cars. Just.
I assumed it was one.
No, there's 2 cars. 2 cars. I think, yeah, 2 cars.
Kane! Yes, we're here, Kane!
She looks around kind of nervously and walks over to you. You're Madeline, right?
Yes, Agent Madeline.
Okay, great.
Pleasure.
Roberta Kane, it's nice to meet you. Thanks for coming to check this out. As I think you probably know, I reported that the samples were sent to Atlanta, but the plane went down. We're waiting to hear word of that, but I sent orders that the crash site should not be approached. Once we found the substance as well, I gave orders that no one should enter the house again. I declared it a biohazard area. To enter, you're going to have to wear biohazard suits. She points at there's an additional tent connected to the big tent that's over the house. And from movies that there's probably a shower in there and there's a room for changing into biohazard gear. She says, she looks at her watch. I need to get going soon, but do you want me to bring you in, or are you okay to make your way through the house yourselves?
I've probably already asked if any of you have any medical training, on the way here.
I do.
Nice.
First aid.
Medicine 60.
Okay, I figure you're taking point here for pretending to be from the CDC.
My science is 60 for biology as well.
Ooh.
Guess who's going in the death house?
Lucky.
Me, I want in.
Yeah.
Selena's just mumbling to herself, these suits are never flattering.
I always kind of enjoy them. We get to train in a lot of fun, expensive equipment, and I don't know, it's enjoyable getting a giant piece of plastic and sweating it out for 2 hours.
Yes, swamp ass. Exactly what I want to experience at work.
I mean, I have put my ass in a swamp before, and I'll tell you something. That's exactly what it feels like.
Look, these jokers aside, Miss Kane, could you give us a house tour?
Follow me. So you're inside the house now. You're all in biohazard gear, the bulky blue suits. So the house has a sitting room. There's a small office off that. There's a bedroom with a bathroom. And then from the kitchen, there's this secret door through the cupboard into your biology was what?
60.
What looks like to you as a level 4 containment lab. This would be very infectious diseases would be worked on in this sort of lab. Let me tell you what the lab looks like.
I relay the severity of this to the boys.
I recommend we don't all go in at once.
Why?
Well, whatever's in there, no point exposing all of us to risk.
Oh, yes, no, just me. Great.
Kane steps in and she waits for whoever wants to follow her in.
It'll be Selena, yeah.
I assume Selena goes in.
Yeah, I'm going to guard the hidden door. I'll be outside then.
Yeah, I'm going in.
I'm going to go in.
The lab is 8 meters by 4 meters, and it contains what must be hundreds of thousands of dollars of the most modern biological testing equipment you've seen. A recessed, highly specialized and expensive air conditioning and scrubbing unit processes all air and releases purified air through 2 mundane-looking vents in the roof. The room has negative air pressure.
Can you just tell me what that means?
Negative air pressure. So air is pushed into the room because the pressure inside is lowered, so that there's less likelihood of something that's airborne getting out. This unit was plugged into a redundant automatic gas-powered backup electrical source. So it was plugged into 2 electrical sources. He wasn't taking any chances. And there's what's known as a cabinet laboratory. It's one of these big kind of glass boxes with holes in them and the gloves inside. Inside the cabinet, you can see that there is a sample tube open, lying on its side. And Roberta Kane tells you that they found a small cut in one of these gloves. The samples and the notes that we found here were sent to Atlanta and hopefully have not been lost in the fire or in the crash.
Oh, the notes were on the plane with the samples?
Yes, unfortunately.
Bollocks.
Yes, so she spends a few minutes showing you around. She asks if there's anything else she can help with. Otherwise, I really need to get to the lab.
Crikey, Mrs. Kane, yeah. It's like this Greaves person really put in the money in here. Before you go, do you mind telling us if you know anything about this Greaves?
Not a whole lot, no. I believe he was a geneticist, though I don't know where he was employed.
And I'm
Hopefully
guessing
an investigation will figure it out.
And I'm guessing all of this is not the cheap stuff.
No, it's not.
No.
Someone spent a lot of money here.
And does somebody needs to have special contacts to acquire such material?
You'd need to know what you were getting, yeah, certainly.
You're not getting this at the local DIY store.
No. And purchases of this kind would definitely be documented and registered. It's not something that falls off the back of a truck.
Right. Forgive me for asking. This is not my realm of expertise, but who would we approach to find out about purchasing this kind of material?
There's laboratory supply companies. Yeah, I guess... she points at a label on one of the pieces of equipment, which is a company name right there, I guess.
This is why they pay you the big bucks. And you're heading back now to CDC?
I am going to... Yes, she's heading back to the CDC labs.
All right. So if we need to contact you again...
You can contact me there. Or here's a card, and she gives you a card with her mobile number.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for waiting for us and allowing us to see. And you've done the check. There's nothing here we need to be worried about anymore.
No, it's good. I made it off limits so that the place wouldn't be disturbed any further until you got here.
Wonderful. Thank you.
I think you should be quite safe in here. Okay, I'm really sorry that I have to go, but this has to be done. I'm sure everything's in very capable hands.
After you've left Kane, is it possible that you can contact us if any more information comes up?
Oh yes, of course. There's no one else in the house now.
I would like to take a closer look at the gloves in the cabinet.
Sure. So yeah, you after a little bit of looking, you spot the cut in the gloves that Kane mentioned. And looking into the glove, inside of the glove, you even see that there's like a sheen of blood kind of coating part of the inside of the hand of the glove.
Is it possible that something inside the cabinet lashed out at the hands and caused the cut?
Also, one hand was remaining from his body once it decomposed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the feet.
Would it be the hand corresponding to the one of this glove or the other one?
It was the left hand, yeah. Are we looking at the left hand or the right hand here?
The hole is in the right glove.
And the blood is red or blue?
Red.
I'd like to take a sample of the blood.
Yes, you can take a sample of that blood. Anything else?
While the rest of these nerds are in the laboratory, I'm going to go take a look around the rest of the house. See if I can get a picture of the guy, and what his life was like and what was going on here.
I want to scream out to Garrett and ask him, did you find the bloody footprint?
Getting there. So yeah, I would want to check out the kitchen where the footprints were.
So in the kitchen and leading from the door to the lab, there are these bloody prints. Not necessarily, they don't really look like footprints, they just look like smudges. But plastic cups have been placed over them, little flags, evidence flags have been attached to them. So all of this stuff has been documented. But yeah, you're free to examine it. Give me I guess forensics or criminology. If
rather than search?
Or ask someone to help you.
My forensics is 50.
Agent Madeline is able to lift a print off this.
A toe print?
It might be. It might be a fingerprint. You're not sure. It's very distorted. It's small and it's kind of twisted.
I just have an image of like a blood-covered baby walking along the kitchen on their hands now.
Thank you for that image. But I mean, you're not a million miles off because it looks, for all the world, like at one point, like a toddler's foot, maybe. It's kind of like has been dragged along the floor. At another point, it's like a couple of fingers, maybe, and a handprint. And then other things are just smudges. But yeah, with your forensics and medical knowledge, you can recognize these shapes, and you're able to pull prints.
So they're like legible, like swirls that you'd get on a print?
Yeah, though they are distorted somewhat.
The footprints, they're going through the kitchen to the fake wall, right?
They go out of the lab,
Oh, they go the other way, out of the lab through the
Yeah.
kitchen.
through the kitchen. There is the outline of where Amanda Griffin's body was found. They pass that point. They continue to the front door, much heavier now. There was more blood on them.
Did they walk through Amanda's body, or?
It's impossible to say. There's just they lead to a point. There's the outline of the body. There's stains from the blood, and then the prints continue on out of the house.
And the blood's red.
Yes.
Is this consistent with the way that Greaves left the house? Because he was in the driveway, right?
Reeves was found intact in the driveway, and his body later disintegrated.
Right.
But Griffith's body didn't disintegrate, right?
Griffin's body did not, no.
I'd quite like to go visit the coroner.
But we should check out the local police station, see all this documented evidence, speak to the people. What is it, Detective Dunser? See what he knows.
What
And
about
then whatever FBI agents were in charge of this case.
Also, just generally looking around the guy's house, do I get an idea that he was like doing well for himself? Presumably with his secret bat cave he was, but
There is so it's not like it's not a very big house. It's not particularly fancy, but the furniture is nice. There's an expensive TV. There's a lot of books in shelves on the walls. In the bedroom, it looks like a nice bedroom. The bed sheets are nice. The wardrobe, there's nice clothes in the wardrobe. There's photographs of Greaves, who looked to be in his 70s, and Griffin was 27.
huh. That dog.
And they said that that's his girlfriend.
Yes.
All right.
And do the pictures look that way?
Is she hot?
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
And he looks
She's a young African-American woman with long hair. She looks slim and very well put together. She's got expensive clothes and expensive jewelry. Greaves is, as I said, a man at least in his 70s, could be older. He looks very old. He looks pretty happy in the photographs, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Together with her.
Yeah.
He's a Caucasian, or is he also African American?
Greaves. He's white. Yeah. You can see you now see a car in the photograph. Very slick red sports car, which you recognize as being out on the street.
He was compensating for something.
His age.
Actually, it's Griffin who's in the driver's seat in the photograph.
Ah, chauffeur.
She was compensating for something. His age.
Yeah, it's the house of someone who clearly was able to live a good life, but wasn't really flashy about it.
all right. And like, is everything in good order? Like, does it look like they were living just normally, and then both of them end up dead? Like, presumably some sort of signs of struggle, given that there was a corpse found in here.
There were signs of struggle with Griffin. The police report says it looks like she struggled briefly, but that's about it. There's nothing broken. There's no like furniture knocked over or pictures knocked off the wall or anything like that.
So it looks like she was the flashy one.
Her corpse was juicy, right? There wasn't it wasn't a body. It was just goop.
They recovered a full intact corpse of Amanda Griffin.
Okay.
But you said that there was like a big mound of like blue blood on her
yeah.
mouth, right?
Yeah, she had like congealed blood, which appeared to have turned blue or been mixed with something blue, and her skin had a blue tinge to it. There's also an office. The office looks like it was used by Greaves exclusively. It's not tidy. It's not dirty,
Oh,
but it's not tidied up.
This is great. Is there a laptop?
There aren't like pin boards with they all said I was mad, but I'll show them. Or
Unfortunately not, no.
okay, well, but worth a try.
There is a desk which presumably had a laptop on it. There's a clear space and some cables. Obviously, her laptop was taken away as evidence.
I'd like to look for clues of any potential company alignment that Greaves may have had. Are there any things on the wall of 20 years service at this company or things like that?
There's not, but when you go through his desk, you do find some invoices. You find one invoice from April 2010. Actually, two invoices. One is for a company called Thompson Specialty Construction, and it appears, the itemized invoice appears to suggest they converted a room for some other purposes. A part of the garage they turned into a room. It's clearly the secret lab. And the second round of construction is indicated on some other invoices. There's one for Monmouth Weather and Fitting.
Weather and Fitting.
Cost $100,000. That was also construction. And then there was a third firm, Pacific Northwest HVAC, to install a complex air filtration and conditioning unit, which was shipped in from the East Coast. There are dockets for several other large shipments. The laboratory cabinet serial number for a biotech firm in Pennsylvania, and it cost $125,000. And you find records of the payments. All but one of these projects was paid with cashier's checks or wire deposits from a bank in the Grand Caymans.
I want to go bother his neighbors.
Agent Garrett goes out, has a name on it. One of the receipts has a name on it. The name is Aaron Silverman. There's a couple of cops here. For one of these. At this point, there's one reporter who looks like he's not arsed anymore. He's talking to the cops. But across the street, you can see that there is an older gentleman standing looking intently at the house. And now at you as you step out of the tent.
I walk up to him. Long, easy strides.
He, as you're walking towards me, he kind of takes you in and the size of you, and he looks a little bit intimidated. He looks around but he still seems eager to talk to you, and he steps forward and he kind of half waves at you and then goes to put out a hand to shake hands, and are you with the police?
Mr. Postwade, I presume?
Yes, that's right.
I'm Dr. Kemp Whitmore with the CDC.
Oh, okay.
Was wondering if I could ask you a few questions.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, yeah, no problem.
We're trying to build a bit of a picture of the case. What can you tell me about your neighbor, Mr. Greaves?
He was a nice sort. Everyone, well, there's not many of us around, but yeah, he was a nice neighbor. He was quiet. His girlfriend wasn't always quiet, but you gotta. I like to tell the wife that we live across the road from a late midlife crisis.
Bit of an odd couple, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but he was having fun. He was happy.
Two of them seemed to get on?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I never saw them argue. I saw her come home in different cars, like dropped off by different guys, but he'd meet her out in the drive. He didn't seem to mind. As long as she was happy, he seemed to be happy. And to be honest with you, he's lived here years, and I always liked the guy, and I didn't know his wife, but I believe she was a lovely woman. He really missed her, and yeah, you can't be alone forever,
No, it takes all sorts. We're not here to judge. You ever notice he was having some building work done? Yeah, a few years ago now. They didn't make that much noise. It didn't bother me too much. I remember a couple of big trucks turned up one evening. I was on my way out, so I didn't see what they were doing. And there was some construction crews working around the back of the house. I couldn't see what they were doing. They were here for like about a week, maybe. That's probably 5-6 years ago, maybe. He never drew much attention to himself, apart from that, quiet fella?
No, not really. Quiet, nice fella. Every so often I'd see him out doing his garden. He was getting on in years, so he didn't do it all that much anymore. He hired some neighborhood kids. But yeah, seemed like a nice guy.
All right. I give him my fake card that says Dr. Kent Whitmore and says, and you're feeling hale and hearty since you got the all clear?
Oh yeah. They brought us to the hospital, checked us all out, and they gave us the all clear. They didn't tell us what they were checking for.
I wouldn't worry about it. If that changes, though, give me a call. That's
what they said. But there was this one other thing. I only think of it now because you kind of reminded me when you handed me that card there. A couple of months back, I noticed a car parking on the street several times, always in different places, but seemed to be watching Greaves' house.
Did you let him know?
I haven't run into him since it happened. I noticed it a couple of times, did nothing, and then one day it was there and I was in the garden and I was like, I keep wondering what the hell this is about. I'm going to go find out. So I goes up to the car and I says to the lady, because there's a lady in the car, I says, what are you doing here? And she got all cagey. She said she was like a private detective or something. Name Willis or Wallace or Walls.
You still got that card?
Let me go look around. I'll see if I can find it. I might just have it inside. You'll be across the street?
Yeah, we're not going anywhere.
Back inside the house.
Yes.
Agent Madeline is back in the lab.
Yes.
Doing a thorough search this time.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Since we got, I basically want to look specifically at the things that were listed in the invoices.
Okay. You've probably seen this equipment before, this type of equipment before, and it all looks as you would expect it to look. It all looks to be in working order and relatively new. The dates on the invoices were like 2010-ish. So it's been here for like 7 years. And it looks like it's been well looked after. Nothing's damaged apart from that torn glove. In one of the sample holders, so there's like these like incubator boxes or something that hold sample tubes and so on. Behind that you spot an envelope. It looks like it had been left on top and it maybe fell off and got jammed down the back. When you grab the envelope, which I presume you do.
I do.
And open it.
I inspect it first. What?
It is an envelope. It seems to have something small inside it.
Oh, would that perchance be a piece of paper or card?
No. It feels like maybe pills.
Oh, subverting expectations right there. Yes. I mean, I'm in my bio suit, right? So, yeah, I open it up.
In the envelope, there is a plastic baggie, and in that baggie are 10 very small blue pills. There is a label with a handwritten note attached to the baggie, and it says ARD15.
ARD15.
Mm-hmm.
I pocket it.
Yeah, that's after an extensive search. That's pretty much the extent of what you find in the house. What's next, folks?
Do you guys share the information from the neighbors?
Sure. Does Postwade come back with the card of this mysterious investigator?
He comes out about 15 minutes later. He has a card. It looks like he spilled coffee on it at some point. It's filthy. But you can make out the name Evelyn Wells of the Dino, Belton and Wells Detective Agency.
All right, interesting. Thank you very much for your cooperation, Mr. Postwade. Might be nothing. Everyone's got a few skeletons in their closet. It's just up to us to make sure they don't get anywhere else. You have a good day now.
I'm glad I could help. Okay, well, I'll be seeing you. And he heads on inside. It's quite late in the day now. It's getting dark.
All right, folks, huddle up. What do we got?
We definitely have several leads of people and money.
This Evelyn's worth talking to. She knew about something our man was up to.
That's true.
Oh, I found these pills.
You know what they are?
Yes, they are ARD15.
English?
Yeah, as a woman of medicine, do you know what that is?
No.
Okay.
But we could potentially send them for... I would say that we could potentially send them to be investigated,
Garrett
but
takes out his iPhone and Googles it.
we could send it for sampling, but at the current moment, I am loath to expose other people to this for now.
We could send it to the program for analysis if we think it's important.
Well, our friendly's in the CDC.
That's true.
And she happens to be in a lab right now.
Right.
So we could do that. I would also like to go to the medical examiner and take a look at Griffin's body, and potentially, if they have the remains, whatever is left of Greaves.
Sounds like some of us should go see Kane down at her lab. She's no doubt already got whatever results from the body.
And there's the detective agency, and then we got this Aaron Silverman character.
And if we want to check out the rest of the evidence that was collected, I suppose it's in the jurisdiction of whatever FBI agents had this case.
We also have an account from the Caymans. He was potentially being funded by someone.
Or just kept all his assets offshore. Wait, what am I I also Googled Tybalt Greaves. Like...
I forgot that we have phones.
Yes, 2017. And Aaron Silverman. Aaron Silverman, Seattle, probably.
You find some mentions of Greaves. There's a patent registered to his name.
To Greaves or Silverman?
To Greaves. For a fast, cheap blood typing process called anti-ABD. It looks like that patent generated around $10 million over 5 years.
That answers a few questions.
He sold that to a company called Merck, M-E-R-C-K, in 2005 for a lump sum payment of $18.8 million. You find this mentioned in a medical news paper.
Sorry, Merck as in murky.
M-E-R-C-K.
Okay, that's slightly less menacing.
While you're on the internet, surfing the web,
not looking at porns.
Yeah,
some local
I'm just
news
sitting on the
comes to your
curb with my
attention.
smartphone out, yeah. What do we got?
Suspicious fire destroys Mill Creek Strip Mall. FBI investigates possible terrorist or organized crime links. Washington Post, October 3rd, 2017. So that's today.
Yep.
Would you like me to read the whole thing?
Go ahead.
Mill Creek, Washington. In the early hours of October 3rd, 2017, a strip mall in Mill Creek was reduced to ashes in a devastating blaze following what appears to be a firebombing incident. The shocking incident took place at approximately 2:45 a.m. when the Dino, Belton and Wells Detective Agency, located within the strip mall, was targeted. A firefighter with military experience at the scene, who requested anonymity, informed our reporter that he believed the attack was executed with remarkable precision and sophistication, possibly involving C4 explosive and thermite. Such materials are commonly associated with professional controlled demolition or sabotage. Local law enforcement authorities have been quick to respond to the situation, but have yet to identify any suspects or motives. In light of the suspicious nature of the incident, the case has been transferred to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Agents from the FBI are now working alongside local authorities to determine whether there are any connections to terrorism or organized crime. The strip mall, which housed several businesses including a convenience store, a dry cleaner and a local eatery, have been completely destroyed. Fortunately, there were no casualties reported, as the area was empty at the time of the explosion. However, the property damage is extensive, and business owners are grappling with a devastating loss of their livelihoods. This incident has sent shockwaves through the peaceful community of Mill Creek, leaving residents and business owners concerned about their safety and the possibility of more attacks. The FBI has assured the public that they are dedicating significant resources to resolve swiftly this case and bring those responsible to justice. Local residents are urged to remain vigilant and report any suspicious activity to the authorities, and the investigation continues.
All right, the op's gone kinetic. We need to buy ammo.
Here's the problem with all this. Whilst we're here doing all this investigating and whatever, there's been a plane crash in Idaho. there's some sort of sample that got out, we're thinking. We're all here talking about this stuff, but there's a real danger going on right now
And
in the
wouldn't you
forest.
like to know what the danger is before we go there?
I mean,
Do you want to have big blue patches of blood all over your face in the middle of the forest?
well,
Oh, let me guess, it wouldn't be the first time.
not after what I was up to this summer. But for reals, whilst we're sitting here, this thing might be doing real devastating damage to our national parks.
We'll be there, kid, but I'm not going in blind.
Blind, we know it's bad. We know it's bad enough to destroy a plane.
And us dying senselessly in there will not help anyone. The
So what'd you say? We sit around here and play cops and robbers for some more?
Yes, that is literally our job. The CDC have it cornered off. Hopefully nobody will be going inside. But for now, we'll be no use to anyone if we end up just gargling blue goop and expiring.
Question is, what do we do when we get there? We answer that question, then we go there.
Well, who was on the flight?
Two CDC pilots.
Two CDC pilots.
That's it.
Right. And we're guessing...
Chances are it was a targeted attack. It was nothing to do with the disease. They're trying to cover up. If they're attacking this detective agency as well, this might be our only lead to figure out what happened with the crash.
It could well be, but also don't forget that one of the packs that contained whatever this substance was open.
Right. And what better way to destroy it than with a plane crash?
Indeed, or the substance got loose on the plane.
So it's pretty late in the day, so shall we
No, we should stand around and argue more.
get to a motel and have this conversation maybe?
Sure.
Can we set the scene first of where this is happening?
Sorry.
There's a motel in front that we're staying. It's one of those weird motels where the car park is in the middle and there's a one story and it goes into like a U shape kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there's a guy inside that takes cash only and doesn't even look at our ID. When we get in there, the rooms are nasty. There's a funky smell. The last people that are here clearly had sex and didn't clean the room properly.
Okay, that's enough color, yeah.
There's a CRT television.
All right,
There was a holiday in 2 blocks
maybe
away,
Selena
Michaels.
has put down a plastic bag on the bed or something, sitting on it while she's talking to her fellow agents.
Possibly. She has a plate of pie in one hand and a cigarette in the other, and has a vodka clenched between her knees. And she's, a thought occurred, fellows. Why would somebody be targeting this thing? I'm wondering. It seems almost human in nature and not something of the supernatural or the extraterrestrial. What or who, what kind of agency or group could be particularly targeting this? And I think back to our Russian friend, Renko, and he said that there was a Russian equivalent of Delta Green. Are there potentially other cells or other international groups who may have done something that could have we are also like working against them in this operation?
Surely. I mean, let's think of it this way. 70 whatever man suddenly finds himself with a rich African American girlfriend that likes to party hard and drive fast cars and hang out with other men. Come on. That's a front. That's a front, and they paid the man to do some research. And the research got out. Simple as that.
Do you think perhaps he is some kind of agent for...
Greaves? Nah. He's a scientist. He doesn't know any better. He just got given a task late in life and he thought, hey, here's a last chance to make a big whoop in the world.
Sure, what I meant was perhaps he sold himself in his retirement to Russia or some other government body.
I mean,
That seems like theorizing somewhat in advance of the facts.
Doesn't
Is
make
that
sense.
not what we're doing right now?
You retire to a nice pension of a few $1 million and then sell yourself afterwards? Well, look, we're speculating. We need more evidence. We need to figure out what it is. What are they trying to cover up? Because clearly it's something. And without the information, we're running blind here.
Now here's something that's still confounding me. There is most probably a short baby running around, and no one has seen anything in all of Mill Creek in 3 days. There's bloody trail, right? Heads out. Plays around the kitchen, leaves a partial print. And then what? No one's seen it? It's been 3 days, 4 days.
Am I the only one that thinking these bloody footprints, they got... Did they or did they not get bigger and have more solid kind of... more blood, but they didn't get bigger? Okay. Because I thought that it may have been whatever turned into the body of Greaves. How far did the footsteps go?
Just out to the driveway, and then there's no sign of them anymore.
And then it Hulk jumps away.
They weren't like dripping blood or anything. It was smudges. Like you could barely see them.
Yeah, so once they get off, say, a tiled kitchen floor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't track them anymore.
Can I give some of the prints that I picked up from the floor to Boshirs to run through the
100% you
database? I'm so glad I remembered that.
The prints come back. U.S. Air Force First Lieutenant Daniel Ulee, U-L-E-E, died 1992 in a training exercise. All other details redacted.
Oh, did the briefing... Wait, the briefing said that they found that the packs that they sent on the plane had some form of unknown human cellular makeup. Is it possible that they have been using DNA or cells from military personnel corpses?
You could say that about like rat DNA or chimp DNA. Well, I want to check for the FBI service for information on any of the key names we have so far. So Evelyn, I want to know what they have on Evelyn and her agency. I want to know what they have on Greaves, if there was anything dating back.
So Evelyn Wells was formerly a detective with the Tacoma Police Department. She joined the private detective agency, which would become named Dino, Belton and Wells. It previously was just Dino and Belton. In 2005, she quickly became a partner by 2009, at which point Belton moved to a more managerial executive role, while Wells did most of the field work and also managed a chain of stringer detectives who were paid on a case-by-case basis. Other than that, though, Wells, Dino and Belton were the partners and the only actual employees.
And do we have a number for Ms. Wells?
There is a number for Miss Wells, yes.
Shall I give her a call?
You can. It's about 10 p.m. at this point.
The CDC never sleeps.
The phone rings out.
All right, might look into that tomorrow, probably.
And you're all starting to get quite tired at this point, I think.
Yeah, we all have a room to ourselves, right? None of us are spooning.
Yeah, I have my own room.
In the miserable sex hotel that Michael's found for us.
Was the nearest one to the diner.
Or all of the headboards like sort of red cheap velvet shaped like a big heart.
Oh, it's one of those... They have those things in American motels where you put money in and the bed vibrates, right?
Yep.
As you're crossing the street from the diner to go to your stinky beds, who's the highest awareness?
That's probably me, actually. 70.
On a couple of lampposts, there are some flyers. You see the same flyer repeated for a missing dog, a small dog, King Charles, belonging to Elizabeth McReady, name you recognize, neighbor of Tybalt Greaves. Out on the street on a lamppost, there's another flyer.
Oh boy.
This one for a collie, belonging to someone named Maximilian Graf. And as Michaels looks around, he sees that there's flyers on all of the lampposts, new flyers. Here's another one. There's a German Shepherd went missing on 121st Street, belonging to Donald Kulnick. And across the street, there's more flyers for cats, a couple of more dogs, then for a Great Dane belonging to Paul Olson, Each of them have phone numbers and pleas to help people find their beloved pets.
How recent are these flyers?
They look pretty new.
All of them.
Yes, they look like they've been put up in the last couple of days. Some of them possibly today.
Oh God, I don't think this is a coincidence. Thanks for listening, folks. If you enjoyed this, please leave us a review on your podcatcher of choice. It'll help spread the word and help others to find us too. If you have any comments, questions, or just want to get in touch with us, you can. You can find us on Instagram with @tales_of_podcast. We'd love to hear from you. This week's Tales of Podcast crew is Mike as Lucas Boshiers, Charles as Eric Paras, myself, Jan, as Selena Goodwill and audio producer, special guest Patsy as Agent Garrett, and Fabio as our handler, as well as editor and co-producer. All music and sound effects used with permission and may have been edited or modified for use. Details and links can be found in the show notes. See you next episode!
The air begins to smell of ozone.
No, I'm with him. Get in the circle.
The hair on the backs of your necks begins to stand
I
up.
jump into the circle.
Yeah.
But I'm giving him the stank eye.
Oh,
You can hear
Get in the circle.
Renko is mumbling
Mamma
something
mia.
under his breath, and as you join him in the circle, he begins chanting louder as he passes scraps of paper to each of you. Says,
Jan
I
can't
forgot
do
to
that.
print it.
The Jandy man cannot.
I'm going to open it on your...
And
you can read it from here.
Renko.
Renko rituals. Yes. No, I will. Oh, you've got it?
Closing of the breach.
Also, Fabio, just lift your mic a bit further up. It's a bit too low.
Alrighty.
Are we supposed to read the pour of the salt?
Don't worry about
we're
it.
not.
Yeah, that's good. Just relax your head.
There's a... Is that okay? I'll give you...
Flux a cheat.
Internalize it.
Amble.
Is this a whole one for each of us?
Amble
Or
man.
is it just one piece each?
It's the same. You're all reading the same thing.
Suat.
Okay.
Heptap. Heptap.
We'll just get one recording of the whole saying it.
Tetfal yik amble.
Wow. Oh, I should have practiced the voice.
I just repeat 10 times. Kin holm betsehe betsehe
Humble.
anak anak minak. Is this pig's Latin?
Do you want to do a
But,
take, like one take each of us reading it?
Yeah, give us a take
Holm
each.
mika.
Mikey, do you want to go first?
Fluxo russet shit. Amber was al dente. Fluxa rus Fluxa russet shit. Amber liam.
We're fucked. We're dead.
Amber lion sovet heptap tes twal yik amber.
Charles.
Flaxa Rasachit Amble Liamente Amble Mayan Suat Heptat Tetwal Yik Amble. You know what this is? This is the fucking Sims language that we're doing right here. I know this. Yeah, I recognize.
What language is it?
I don't fucking know.
It's the Simiese. It's the Simiese from the Sims games.
Simian.
Floxa Resachit Amble. Your handwriting's terrible. Amble Liomte Amble Mayan Suvet Heptap Tetwalyik Ambel
Estut me lied.
is tut lied.
I'll give it a shot as well, I suppose.
No. Next line.
I can't read it at this angle, so I'll record it later on.
Oh, I can do it.
Oh, do you want to read it as a Russian?
Flogser också chet ambelante ambelmayan savut hiptap tetwaljik imbel.
Shit,
Oh, wait, do you want to have Patsy
something.
read it in Russian accent?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
do it.
my him now. Okay, wait.
Let's go.
Can you turn your screen
here
around
you
for
go,
Patsy?
here you go. Look at this. It's much better.
Oh, easy. Yeah, fantastic.
Just the first paragraph. Yeah,
Yes.
with a Russian accent.
Floxa rochachit ambel, ambeliente, ambel mayan suat hiptap, tetwal yik ambel.
Sick.
That was Russian, but also just like, I do not care about what I'm reading right now.
Such is life in
So
Russia.
Russian.
There is no passion left in me. There is no vodka in this ritual.
I am the one character who has had time to practice.
Hey!
I was doing it on the bus all the way here.
Okay. As you get near to the end of your first recitation of the words, you begin to hear something else in the room. But it's not even just in the room, it's in your minds, it's everywhere. It's like this sound is emanating from every point around you. The sound of howling dogs.
Oh, fuck me, they followed us.
And as you begin your second recitation, corpse of some enormous hound that's had all of its hair stripped from its flesh. Its jaws are massively oversized, barely contained inside its mouth. And from its back are these crumpled leathery wings that somehow manage to flap as it lands right in front of this salt circle. Renko keeps on chanting. He nudges you all to keep on chanting, encouraging you to just keep it up. The hound, because presumably that's what this is, begins pacing the room, walking in circles around the circle that you are within, coming as close as it can. At times, leaping towards the circle and hitting some invisible barrier inches from your faces. Give me a sanity roll.
Sorry, but you're going to have to put the light back on, Charles.
Yeah. What's this one do?
The path for me. I'll get you your own special ones.
I just every time.
You have to roll under your current, right?
Fuck this.
Yep.
Yeah, mine's a massive failure.
Oh, baby. What does that mean?
Your what? You went through. Lose another willpower point.
Selena is now on 5.
40 minutes, 50. An hour of chanting. You're all barely able to speak. If only you'd brought a drink into this circle with you.
I unfortunately entered with a cigarette, so it's just made it worse.
Even Renko by this stage is starting to falter. But the hound, its pacing is slowing. It hasn't attacked the barrier in some time. And it almost looks like it's cowering in some way. And the hound stops moving. It begins to fade. It looks deep into the soul of each of you.
Oh, puppy.
One last time before vanishing from existence. Renko drops the book that he was reading from. He stumbles over to the bed, picks up his paper bag, takes out a bottle of vodka, opens it, takes a long, hard swig,
I snatch it.
and he says, I guess it's...
I mean, you first.
Renko explains that he is from the Delta Green equivalent in, originally the Soviet Union, now Russia. He doesn't go into too many details about why he's in America. I don't know if you press him on that. But he does tell you that he's fully aware of what you've just been through. He wishes he could have helped, but he learned the true facts of it too late. But I thank you for helping me here. I don't know that I could have withstood that alone one more time.
Do you want to tell us anything about why it was us, or why this is not the first time? Swig, swig, swig.
Yeah, he takes a bottle back from you, takes a swig and passes it on to the next person. Well, who else for 100 miles could understand even a fraction of what was happening to me? Who else would not think that I was completely insane as soon as I burst into the room?
So how did you end up 100 miles from anybody else who might know? What are you doing?
I was tasked with recovering an artifact.
Went through, and now you expect me to just be like, all right, have a good day. Nice knowing you, pal. What is this?
No, of course not. Of course not. There's give and take here. You helped me. I will help you in the future.
Can I be surreptitiously...
Oh, you're staying here in Asave? Sorry.
I will be
Under the bed.
KGB.
Okay, you send that. Give me a stealth.
My stealth is 10%.
I rolled a 6 for Renko, so...
Ooh, as in perception?
Yeah. Awareness.
That's a 56. I have 10.
He sees you do it, and I think our conversation is over. I'll be in touch. I was sure that in time. Well,
Wait, what?
Your friend didn't seem to want to put her cards on the table. She instead is sending messages.
She's a terrible card player.
It's time for me to leave. You can keep the vodka.
Oh, did I just kill this scene?
No. Can we keep the book you're holding?
It's in Russian. You couldn't read.
I could
What's
barely,
your what's
I could barely read your handwriting.
what's your agent's human?
Yeah, non-existent. Why?
Mine's...
Eric Paras.
Agent Michaels.
Because he's probably in a t-shirt at this stage.
Well, when you look as good as I do.
With his fireman arms.
Yeah.
And Boshears a card. And there's a phone number scribbled on it. Otherwise it's blank and just dog-eared. And he kind of awkwardly stumbles towards the door and says, Thank you again. I promise you I will repay you. And he opens the door and he steps out into the night.
Does anybody want
Good night,
pie?
everybody.
Well...
A module called Viscid. Who are you playing again?
I am playing Selena Goodwill, FBI profiler, amateur animal behaviorist, expert human behaviorist.
Remember it this time. And Charles, you were in that scene too. The object of Agent Renko's desires.
Yeah, he knows.
I don't know, man. This is a role-playing game. We'll find out.
That's not how I read that at all.
I mean, I don't mind it.
Yeah. I read it as definitely checking out a piece of ass on his way out.
Oh.
I mean, Selena's noticed.
I thought he was
I'm
looking
sure-
at him because it was a Russian thing. It's like you lingering because he was like, oh, this guy's an idiot.
That was a fair assessment.
He's clearly a himbo.
Yes, clearly a himbo. I think that's how I originally described him way back in the day. The kind of person that would have like nunchaku, and then everybody started calling him Agent Michaels, and then we were like, well, what's the
Peer pressure.
yes?
And
also it
Edsel
sounded
are
good.
not alone tonight.
What's this?
We got Patsy.
Hey, everyone.
Patsy, why don't you tell us about you?
Checked out last week.
Tonight I'll be playing Jonathan Lee Briers, recently retired USA Criminal Investigation Division captain.
No.
The man,
that we just
the
talked-
dude.
No,
No, then I would have been
fella.
playing him.
Patsy is reprising a character from our 90s.
Oh.
So
Our
he's one of the
off-mic game.
yeah, he's one of the old men of Delta Green at this point.
He's had 17 remarkably lucky years because he's still here.
Just.
So when did we end?
Before we just jump in, I need 5 minutes just to sort out my laundry.
Give me a break. Hang on.
Listen, here I am already like in pain, already shot up and everything. And it's like, but yeah, I'm hot. Oh, there you go. Oh, oh, it's steaming.
It was pointing.
Yeah,
Is it?
How you been sleeping?
Well, Anna hasn't been sleeping well, so by default.
When you're
But
looking-
I get it sometimes, like I get it under the eye.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a sign I've not been sleeping.
Oh.
It's often stress related.
Oh, fuck, I wanted to go get some more candy. Next week, or this week, or whatever. Thinking about you, Fabio, but I can't remember why. It's usually because I see something cool, I think of something like, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah, like I gotta hit up Fabio and ask him about this or something like that. But for the life of me, I can't remember what the fuck it was. Yeah, story. Yeah. Yeah.
What did you
It's
say?
nice to be thought of in general.
No, I was just saying, I fuck it. I don't know. It was either a movie or a game or something. It's usually like something weird and random. I'm like, you know who'd fucking get a kick out of this? Fucking Fabio would fucking love this. I gotta hit him up. And then that's. I think every other weekend I'm telling Anna, I was like, I gotta hit Fabio up. Like this fucking cool thing just happened. I gotta tell him about it and totally forget about it. Oh fuck yeah! Now I remember.
One man podcast.
Yeah, here we go. This is it. This is what happened. It wasn't that fucking cool. It was legit. Like, whoa, what the fuck? I saw this dog with a leash that had been let go, chasing after another dog that was twice its size down the road, and they ran into the middle of the fucking road, and like we were both like, Anna was like, I can't fucking look, like I need to get out of here because we're about to see dogs get run over.
Jesus.
And they ran across the street and then like hung out here and they ran back across, and the one that was being run after, which was like the dog was twice the size, like stayed on like next to the cars but on the road running as its master was running like after him, and he was the one without a leash, and the one with the leash got caught, and the master was like screaming at him like, what the fuck are you doing? It was crazy, and I was like, holy shit. Fabio would get a kick out of the story because he just got mauled by a dog saving his dog. Oh,
You did
man.
indeed.
There you go. So if anybody listens to this, dear listeners,